Welcome to today's episode of the AdTechGod Pod, where we wear some really ugly sweaters. I'm your host, AdTechGod. Today I have three guests on the pod. We have the CMO of Mediaocean, Aaron Goldman, the CMO of LG Ads, Tony Marlow, and Jackelyn Keller, the former CMO at ComScore, and also the principal at Jackwell Consulting. Today will be a little bit different from other episodes. It's the holiday season. Everybody's feeling a little festive, so they're all wearing their awesome sweaters. But we're going to run through some other ugly things, maybe some look back, some future predictions, and where we think the industry's going. And then we'll wrap it up with like a rapid fire with some questions I've set up. Jackelyn, Aaron, Tony, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
First and foremost, who wins on the ugly sweater on this group right here?
I mean, I think the sweater Tony's not wearing wins. I think
can we see that sweater, Tony? We saw it before the recording, but I'm surprised you didn't wear it.
There was an alternate option that didn't get used, but
That's given like Will Ferrell elf full costume there.
this gem has a tie built into it. It just needs a good wash. This came from a thrift store, and it will be out in full force for the festive season.
I love it. I'm wearing my festive sweater too, if you can't see on the logo. So I'm ready to rock and roll. And of course, it's AI everything. Aaron, if you don't mind, I'm going to kick it off with you. There's three people, so I'm going to kind of go round robin. What do you think as we look back on 2025? A lot has changed. AI is kind of taken over the whole world at this point, not just advertising, just like the industry overall, all industries across the board. But to kick it off, like, what's the weirdest meeting you've had in 2025 and why?
All right. So we just recently launched the Innovid Orchestrator, and I promise this won't be about plugs. I know that's not one. You did get three CMOs on a podcast, so you had to expect a little bit of that. But
that's true.
So we had an entire meeting devoted to picking an icon that was going to represent the orchestrator, on the website, decks, email signature. And you'd have thought like we were debating matters of like national security. That's how intense the meeting was. The opinions were very strong. We narrowed it down to an orb and a pyramid. And we eventually went with the pyramid. In hindsight, I think we missed an opportunity. We could have called it Sphinx, for the name of the product, but we just went with orchestrator. It's like calling your dog. If you actually, it's kind of, so you remember Marketecture Live, in the first one in March, when we unveiled the new brand for the combination of Innovid and Flash Talking. And of course it was Innovid. And so people were like, wait, you've all this pomp and circumstance to rebrand Innovid to Innovid. And we're like, well, it's the new Innovid. And here are some socks to go with it. So at any rate, names are hard, icons are hard. We definitely overthink things in our space, and that's a weird meeting that could only happen to us in this industry.
Here's a weird fact. I actually sleep in that shirt because it's really soft. The one that you were giving out on Architecture Live too, just so you know. And I think I do a couple Starbucks runs in them too. And people probably don't know who Innovid is if they don't work in the industry, but I do, and I'm rocking it when I go pick up Starbucks in the morning in flip-flops.
Wow. So now anyone in an Innovid shirt on the street is going to be stopped and say, hey, are you AdTechGod?
Yeah, and like I said, I'm only wearing socks and a t-shirt. So usually I stand out a little bit at Starbucks.
I think this holiday sweater, though, it's inspiration for packaging of sponsorships at AdTechGod. You could wear that Innovid shirt as part of, I don't know, the next sponsorship.
Exactly. We'll send the team after you, Aaron.
Or just you can start selling patches on it.
That's what I should do. I should make a patch with all our sponsors.
Well, NASCAR.
Ooh, I like that.
Tony, how about you? What's been like a weird meeting you've had in 2025 that you look back on and just say, wow, that was an odd meeting I had?
Yeah, I mean, for what we do, there's usually a few, but I would say more a series of meetings than a singular. But many of you might be aware that we used 50 Cent as a part of our NewFront presentation earlier in the year. And I was shocked in the lead up to the NewFront, all of our preparation, we're dealing with 50 Cent's handlers. The writer is hitting us. He needs a special green room, special dietary requirements. We were getting quite nervous. And I was pretty fascinated that every time we would talk about 50 Cent, people would start curating their Spotify and they'd be like, I've just listened to this. And it was like, at our company, everyone became the biggest 50 Cent fan. And of course, we love the 50 Cent Action channel available on LG channels. But it was surreal. And then ultimately on the day, we got to meet 50, Biddy, as the kids call him. I just can't say that properly. World's nicest guy. We thought it was going to be, are these the green M&Ms? What's going on? He couldn't have been cooler. So nice. Well executed on stage. It was really cool. But in the lead up, we were very nervous.
You think it's more like his people that are just super picky than him?
I don't know. He seemed really chill, really professional, and I think maybe his people just wanted to make sure that the table was set, so to speak. But on the day, just could not have been nicer. We were nervous it would go the other way.
I've seen him perform. He still has performance in him, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely great. Jackelyn, how about you in 2025? As you look back on the year, what was like the weirdest?
First, I have to say, to go back in a time machine, I saw 50 Cent perform in high school in Baltimore. And it was the Rock the Mic tour, and it was phenomenal. And it's when I didn't have a smartphone, so we kept calling our friends in high school, like, can you hear him? And it sounded like garbage. So thank God for improved speakers where you could FaceTime from concerts. Yeah, exactly. Like, here, it's like a flip phone. But yeah, he was cool on stage. I'm gonna go with this is one of the strangest meetings I've been in this year. It's like a holiday special with, I don't know, two Jews, an Australian who believes Christmas is in the summer months, and God. So go with this meeting.
I feel like both like insulted and also like this is the greatest compliment ever. So thank you. It's good. It's good we started on time today. That's also another really good thing.
Yeah. JST.
Okay, so Tony, Aaron, Jackelyn, I'm going to ask you guys because like all year long, every podcast, I don't even know how many I record, 50, 60 a year. Everybody keeps talking about being AI powered. It's become kind of a cliche of AI. Everything's AI this, AI powered that. Some of it is, some of it isn't. Even Terry spoke at Marketecture Live too that we just had. And he was, talking about how people present their AI solution. He just looks at them and goes, that's it. But what do you think has been the most overhyped phrase in our industry this year? Is it AI, or is there something else that you think took way too much bandwidth that never really panned out?
I think it's AI personally, like AI powered optimization and then insert whatever direct object, or like flip it like creative optimization, buying optimization. But I think AI was overhyped. I love AI, by the way. Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
I feel like AI powered. It's become like you have to say it, because if you don't say it, then some people think it's not like it's like batteries included or batteries not included. Like there became a time where that had to appear on the package just so that people know. I feel like we're in that same mode here where you have to say it, otherwise, people will think it's not there. So I'm with you. If I had to pick another one though, I would say curation. I feel like
Thank you.
Still don't know like how that's like a product in and of itself or an offering. Like if you're working with good partners and platforms, you should be able to pick where your ads run, without having a whole specialty offering devoted to it. So that said, AI powered curation, on the other hand, that's some impressive stuff.
Then you cover that object.
It's funny. The curation thing was wild for a while. Like I'm like, what were you selling before curation? Is the real question. Like what were you bundling in there? Or were you just not even looking at the domains or the inventory flowing? It's pretty wild that became like such a big business line and marketing promotion for so many. You should have known what you were selling before. But yeah, I think for sure curation's up there. How about you, Tony?
I'm going to be a little contrarian because I kind of agree with the AI thing, but I kind of disagree. So I think that the AI term, whether it's AI powered, however it's inserted, definitely overused in 2025. But I do think there's nuance. Just to get serious for a second, I think it remains underhyped. Meaning, I think our industry and the world more generally does not appreciate the speed with which it is coming on. I don't believe that we appreciate the rapidness with which it will change our industry within 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. And if we're lucky enough to chat with you again at AdTechGod this time next year for the next holiday special, I think that the advancements in product offering, the advancements in the discussion around AI would have happened tremendously. So I think it's gone from kind of buzzword to now there's some wood behind the arrow. And I think over the next year, it's going to be transformative. So I think it's overused, but underhyped in terms of how quickly we're going to get there.
So here's a little fact about AI. So ChatGPT's third birthday is November 30th. So in 3 years,
wild,
when
right?
this first launched and everybody was downloading this ChatGPT thing, probably didn't even know what to search for because it's not as like natural as Google or Yahoo or any other search engine. Like it's now 3 years in and it's completely disrupted the world, really, from advertising to
I remember my first search actually was I asked ChatGPT what ACR was, light up LG ads. And in the morning, it didn't know. And by the end of the day, it knew more than I did. And it was crazy.
It's pretty wild. So in 3 years, it's been fast.
Do you remember how much everyone hated the name ChatGPT at first? Or like, oh, dude, people are going to have to think of what the GPT stands for. It's such a horrible name. And now it's like, can you imagine it with any other name? Like, it's...
So what does GPT stand for? Do you know, Aaron?
Generative...
Yeah, I've looked it up too. Yeah.
Let me ask ChatGPT.
I just call it chatty, like a dear friend.
But it is funny on both that last point and our first use. I count myself as an early adopter. So they launched in November. I used it for the first time that December, and I was actually at a holiday party. I was with some friends. We were in New York, and someone had shown me this thing. At the time, there was no app, so you had to actually log into a web interface. And I remember just laughing and thinking of all the fun we could have. I remember writing the host of the party the thank you note using ChatGPT. It could complete with the insert host's name, insert your name, and just thinking this is a big joke. And then I think of how far we've come. It was like a year later, you couldn't live without it. Then they started launching Sora. We could do images, we can do video. And it's ATG, it's a great example. The speed with which it's now just indispensable. 3 years ago, no one had heard of it. Now, if you try to take it away or took it from the App Store, I think it would be a big problem. And that's exactly what we're going to see within the ad tech industry, more generally speaking. At least I think so over the next year.
I have a little bit of a hot take on what I think has been a big buzz without real output yet. I think it's the whole AdCP thing. I think it's been awesome, like great, fantastic. Everybody's working together. Everybody's chatting. They're trying to figure out this new protocol. How is this going to change the industry? But it's been a lot of buzz for no output. And it'll be interesting to see if it actually turns into something in 2026. It may not. Based on what I've seen and what I've read is that there isn't much like tangible yet, but it's really picked up a ton of media across the board for what they're doing.
I'm with you, ATG. I think... our CEO, Bill Wise, he does these things called wise words. And so he talked about how with AdCP, like they haven't solved for the underlying business complications and complexities of the industry. Like it's great that you can get agents talking to agents, but in real life, a buyer is never going to reveal all the criteria upon which they're going to make a buy to a seller. And the seller's never going to reveal like the most valuable, impressions and elements of inventory in a transparent, open way. And so until you can solve for that dynamic, you can't code agents, to just come in and automate things. So the idea, the framework, the potential for it is huge, but the practical application of it, at least right now, it's not there because we haven't solved for the things that make the industry currently run.
Jackelyn, what do you think, Tony? How do you feel about it?
Strong opinions loosely held, but I agree with if you think of any transaction, I think the way Aaron just articulated, like it seems inconsistent logically because that's the whole value, right, of programmatic is that you have asymmetrical information and that you can maximize value. So I don't see how it's going to play out, but I don't know. I think in terms of what Tony said though, with AI, what did you say, Tony, that maybe it's been overused, but it's been underhyped. I like that. Because I think specifically when it comes to creative optimization, and you've talked about this before, what is it, AZ testing? Now I'm using your words. But I used to work in branded content and where we would even just take one image to say, hey, which specific driver is clicked on more? And it would be very manual uploading those files. So I think that nuanced optimization, we're going to see a lot more of that in the year to come. So I think specific use cases, we're going to see more of AI. I'm just sick of hearing about it.
And those two things interplay, right? Like you talked about my corny joke, the AZ testing. We've gone from A/B testing to AZ testing. We can spawn the whole alphabet of creative executions, programmatically deploy them, and just see which ones work, which placements, which versions. And the automation of getting to a great campaign is making us get there more quickly. So I think it's true. It's happening.
So in 2025, if there was any kind of wild... So I live my life on social media, if you guys haven't noticed. So between LinkedIn and X and all the posts and all the promos, all the interviews, I just unfortunately and also fortunately, I just see and read a lot all day long. But what do you think has been the hottest thing that has been announced in 2025 that you think has been beneficial to the industry or has been a game changer?
I'll point to one thing that failed, but I think is going to end up being a total game changer, and that's ads on Perplexity. I think when they first started showing ads, everyone went crazy with the potential for ads inside of AI agents. And obviously we know ChatGPT is the big one, and we can get into 26 predictions, and I'll let you know where I stand on that. But when Perplexity first announced ads, our industry went into a tizzy thinking about the potential applications. Of course, the way they introduced it with like sponsored prompts was, I think it was kind of weird. It didn't get a lot of uptick. I don't think you can introduce a new channel and a new ad format at the same time. You have to take a format we're already used to and bring it into the channel to get adoption, and then you can go in. So that's a long way of saying, like, maybe start with search text links, folks, and then, we can build from there. But that was one that I think got everyone super excited. It ended up failing, at least for Perplexity, but that's just the beginning of, I think, what's to come there.
I think that's where it's going. I have a bit of an anecdote. During Possible earlier in the year, we were big sponsors. We were out back. We were where the cabanas are, where many of the brands are present. And we were hosting our happy hour on one of the days. And I remember I just looked across, and there was this kid there, I should say a young man there, at college age. And I was just like, who is this? And he was wearing a backpack. It had literally, I think there were LEDs, and it was lighting up. I'm like, who is this person at our party? And I go over, I chat with him. And the next thing I know, his laptop's out, and he's like showing me his product that he's built. And his company's called Thrads, actually. And I should actually, to cut to the chase, I ultimately invested in his company, but he gave me a demo of a version of an ad built for an AI chat environment where the ad itself is interactable. So maybe you're searching for shoes, and you're able to say, okay, great. You see an organic AI result, and you see a sponsored result. Again, this isn't in the wild yet. This is his product that he's trying to sell. Imagine it in a ChatGPT or Perplexity. And being able to say, oh, I like those ones. Do they come in blue, or can I have the tan one? And being able to interact with an ad like that, I think that's where we're going. So Threads has a few different paths they've chased, but they have built this for what, Aaron, you were just saying, this GPT environment will likely go ad supported at some point. And what is that experience? Is it going to be a net new experience that's different to ads that we see now? Very likely from what I've seen. And I think Threads is probably one of the best executions I've seen. So, fast forward, and I'm talking with Andreas on the regular. He's an interesting cat. Yeah.
So we'll kind of move towards the prediction part, because this part's actually interesting. I got a couple questions. And the first one, since it's a holiday episode, I decided to throw in some regifting here. But if the ad industry had a holiday gift exchange, which trend would you regift immediately?
For me, retail media, because I think it's like, that's also overhyped, but I think folks misunderstand ad placements versus the data that you can use. So I just be like, no, thank you, please.
Retail media.
I would want to go after that in White Elephant.
I think that's funny. Yeah, the White Elephant is good. You know how sometimes you can get a good gift, but maybe you got more than one of them, you have too many? I think this like interoperable clean room falls into that. It was like one day there was one, then there were two, and then there were 30, and now there's 5 billion. And it's like, okay, great concept. Love it. Like, how did we get to this point where there are so many of these? And I think of that, the interoperable data clean room, lots of them now, more than we had a year ago.
It took me a year, but I can finally say interoperable. Just kidding. See, I can still not say that word. Say it. Interoperable. I can't.
There you go.
Even me.
Do you think like all of these retail media networks will survive? Because I feel like obviously the big ones have scale. The Walmarts, the Amazons of the world have it. But if you're like Julie's Trinkets and Bracelets, like building a retail media network around a non-sizable base, it just feels like some of them would not scale the way I would expect them to scale.
I think their plan's probably to get bought, right? To just get to exit.
Yeah, probably somewhere up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's survival, maybe not in the current form, but there's a need for the proprietary data that these folks sit on. And so whether it's through acquisition or interoperability, there I said it slow, but just, being able to like buy it through other larger scaled retail media networks, there's a place for them. It's just a matter of what shape it takes.
Yeah, I think there's an arms race going in two different directions here. So I think there's some consolidation that will probably naturally occur. But it's kind of a race against the clock, because I believe that we're seeing, and because we haven't talked about AI enough, I'll raise it again. But within media planning, we're seeing AI being a game changer. Whether it's an AI agent in the hands of a media planner or some next generation AI that's media planning, I think it's going to make some of these long tail executions, whether in a retail media environment or otherwise, much more viable, where the agent is able to go to the deep, dark depths to find these places that did not necessarily have enough scale to warrant a human's attention and aggregate them. So I think simultaneously, there's this race where there's going to be consolidation, amongst the way it works now. But I think it's happening in a space where the way the purchasing occurs is going to transform very rapidly. And so it will be interesting to see how those two things meet.
So I like the idea of agents as it plays out in some of the operational aspects. I think the one thing I will never believe in, I think something was announced just this weekend, or maybe it was last week, about the agentic commerce, the whole like you can have a robot shop for you thing. And I feel like for anyone who likes to shop, I have one of those in my household, it almost takes away the joy of it. And I just can't imagine telling a robot, go out and pick the type of shoes I want, to purchase it, to pay for it, and ship it to my house. I think as a suggestion engine, it's a great idea, maybe a better suggestion engine, but I just can't see an agentic commerce scaling in my view.
I disagree.
Oh, really? Okay. See, good.
I love shopping, but I think for certain types of shopping, I'd be okay. I don't know. I'd like the school shopping, and maybe if like you just said, for like a recommended item, like it might say like, you might like this item also. So that of course is useful, but like fully shopping, if you think of like back to school supplies or just for your kids, you just need stuff off your to-do list. I think even grocery shopping, half the time I'm going in and I'm just getting items that I got before on Whole Foods. So I think it kind of depends on the use case, but I would save so much time if someone would do shopping. I've had babysitter shop for me. Now I would rather have an agent that has all the data to make smarter decisions and optimize. AI fueled shopping optimization. Sorry, go ahead.
I totally agree. I think, and right now we have voice assistants in many homes, right? Whether it's Alexa, Google, whatever you have. Well, I think we're hurtling towards the point where I say, "Hey Alexa, book me on the next flight to San Francisco," and I think it has profound implications, because right now we purely market to people, even things like SEO, etc. And I think the next generation of SEO will essentially be an AI EO, for lack of a better description, where we are marketing to these agents. The agents need to be able to say, these are the flights that Tony might be considering. He's got some preferences. Maybe he prefers United, but maybe he doesn't prefer United if it's $1,000 more expensive than Delta. And I think a lot of the decisioning will just happen out of our hands. So I think there will be still some, just shopping for pleasure. But I think a lot of these purchase decisions are going to become automated as well. I tend to agree with Jack.
Here's one holiday tip for everyone. Whether you're using the agent to actually go into agent mode and shop for you, or if you're just using, something like ChatGPT the old-fashioned way by putting in a prompt, it's great for promo codes. And so you go, hey, find me a working promo code for this website. And especially if it's in agent mode, keep trying the promo code until you find one that works. That's 15 minutes that in real life, I'm so frustrated. I'm angrily typing in these, different combinations, but just let the agent do it in another browser. Saved 15%. Heck yeah.
Wait, does that work now, Aaron?
That's a pro tip right there.
It does. Yep.
Did I just say 10% on my auto insurance? I just feel like
because I literally was tasked with ordering the holiday cards, and so now I'm wondering, because the Shutterfly and all those sites are always doing promos, you just never know what works, and I'm searching for 10
Cyber
of them.
Monday also. Get that done.
Let me
today.
get that done too. Yeah, for sure. Okay. We're kind of notoriously known for being really dramatic in ad tech. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's a little bit of drama here and there. And the banter can be really fun, but it can be pretty intense. But what do you think overall everybody just needs to chill out about going into the new year? Because people are heated at times.
Yeah. I'll say attribution. I think it's always going to be complicated. There does not exist the perfect way to attribute success or credit across reply. I think incrementality is the thing to focus on, and I think we can just chill over this search for the holy grail of perfect attribution. I think it simply doesn't exist, and I think we just need to be doing the best that we can to try and do that. I think attribution people get very fired up about it. They think some methods are just not up to par. The truth is, none of them really are.
Aaron, how about you?
I'll take it up a level and a little more macro. And for me, it's just like predictions in general. Like, I think we can all just chill. Like, not everyone needs to have a prediction or share a prediction. Putting a LinkedIn post with your prediction does not make you like a thought leader. We can just sort of like, we should still be planning, but it doesn't have to be like rooted in yours or other people's predictions. Like, let's just go through it. Let's, live in the moment, people. Optimize for the now.
Amazing. Jackelyn, how about you? What does everybody have to chill out about?
It's so funny. I had one, but connected to Aaron's, like, it would be great if everyone just chilled off of LinkedIn for a week. Like, literally just took a break. Like, when you're talking about those posts, it would be so lovely to just, or on Instagram, I'd love to see my friends, like, I love Reels, but I would love to see my friends post, like, just do like a throwback for 1 week. You only see posts from your friends rather than like all the ads and all the random GIFs that I somehow.
And all those meme accounts are everywhere too. It's really annoying.
Like, I love the dogs that talk to each other and I love Nate Bargatze, but could we just go like roll back for a week and just have social media be like it was in like, I don't know, 2015?
Well, there was no AdTechGod back then.
I would love
So how?
That was my life. It's my livelihood now.
I'm
Jackelyn.
trying to give him a holiday break. I'm giving him Christmas off. You're welcome.
Taking food out of my children's mouth. Okay, so here's my thing that I think everybody needs to chill out about, and I'm going to stand up for them because usually I usually pick on them a little bit. Everybody needs to chill out on the trade desk and what they're saying about what they're doing. I think a lot of it is just drama, and I post about it all the time. And so anyone listening from Trade Desk, I'm sorry, there's no attack towards you. I think it's a great company, but for sure, what they're doing is a cleaner supply chain. What they're doing is not wrong, but I think everybody needs to relax and calm down. They're not Google. And they're a good company and they provide a lot of good stuff. And I'm not saying that because I invest in them. I don't own any of their stock or anything. What I'm saying is what they're doing is the right path, which is providing more dollars to their publishers and trying to drive the right type of performance for their advertisers. And I don't see anything wrong with it. I just think everyone's upset because they're winning. And I think everybody's kind of upset with them for that.
Well, then let me revise my, I do want to offer a prediction. And I think it's that Jeff Green is going to do your podcast next year, ATG.
I
had him. So to the CMO of, I'll say his name. So Ian, you offered to have him on my pod and I sent him to Ari and then I think they couldn't schedule. So I want him on my pod now. So Ian, if you're listening, send him to me.
Maybe we reached a point of inception. Maybe if that must mean Jeff Green is AdTechGod then, because we got close to calling the bluff to book him on the pod and then it exploded. So,
He's like the only person that hasn't been on the pod at this point.
I think he was just waiting for the offer to put the Trade Desk logo on your shirt, AdTechGod. So maybe you figured out his currency.
I'll add a 12-month sponsorship. I'll put a pin on the logo. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to do a quick rapid fire before we wrap it up because we're pushing time. I know you guys are a little bit over already. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to start with Aaron on this one, and then I'll go Tony and then Jackelyn. So I'm going to do rapid fire, a few questions, and just answer as quickly as you can. Aaron, are you ready?
yes.
Okay. What brand metric do you secretly not believe in?
Ad recall. I can't even remember what I ate for breakfast, much less what ads I've seen lately.
Is there any particular ad that you still remember or that impressed you?
The UK Christmas ads every year are always like a highlight, and I'm always waiting on pins and needles to see what Aldi's going to do with Kevin the Carrot. This year they gave us a trilogy, a 3-part episode of Kevin the Carrot getting married. No spoiler alert. Kevin gets married in the last one, but that's the type of stuff that sticks with me.
What's one marketing test you would outsource to AI instantly or have already done?
Anything related to math. So if I get a spreadsheet with data, it's going straight into the LLM to say, what do I need to know? Calculate this for me, calculate that, summarize, etc.
That is actually great. If you were in advertising, what would you be doing, Aaron, other than playing basketball?
Well, that is probably what I would be doing. Not getting paid for. Well, maybe all right, I'm going to plug now. I do trick shots. I have a channel called Jude Perfect. I'm the Jewish Dude Perfect. If you couldn't tell from my Hanukkah sweater here, I'm of the Jewish faith. And so Jude Perfect at Jude Perfect on YouTube. Right now, it's just a side hustle. But if I were not in advertising, I would try and make that a full-time monetizable pursuit.
What's one thing you'd mandate for every marketer in 2026?
Okay, so this will be a do as I say, not as I do. But I would tell everybody to drop down to the ad-supported tier for your streaming services so that you can actually experience them the way that consumers do, the way that the audience you as a marketer are trying to reach do. And so, yeah, get in their head, go down to the ad-supported tier, help us all continue to put foods on the table.
Who do you think AdTechGod is, Aaron?
Well, I guess the Jeff Green thing really is starting to come together. I would have guessed one of these friendly folks who's joined me here on the holiday episode, but now that I see you in a box next to the blank box of ATG, unless you're really good at technology, I don't know how you would pull off that feat. So I'm going to go Jeff Green.
Awesome. All right, Tony, what's one brand metric you secretly don't believe in?
It's not a true brand metric, but I despise Net Promoter. If you've ever read the question and the score, 0 to 10, 0 doesn't even mean I hate the brand. The way we use it, terrible. I hate Net Promoter. We can get rid of that.
What's the last ad that genuinely impressed you?
Anything Ryan Reynolds touches, but I think the one that I found really moving, and actually Jackelyn and I co-teach an MBA class a marketing class to MBA students, I showed them a Google Super Bowl ad from a few years ago where an elderly man uses Google to preserve the memory of his wife. Literally everyone in that room cried. It's pretty powerful. I love that ad.
If you could outsource one marketing task instantly to AI, what would it be?
AI could take all of my budget meetings. That would be fun.
Why? Those are so much fun. Those have to be fun. If you weren't advertising, what would you be doing, Tony?
I'd probably be a mad scientist, or maybe still on a beach in Australia, or maybe a mad scientist on a beach in Australia, something like that.
All right. If you had to mandate one thing for every marketer in 2026, what would it be?
I think everyone needs to master the creative on the home screen, on the TV home screen. It's a brand, you've heard me say before, CTV is not your grandmother's TV. It's a brand new part of real estate, brand new experience, and a brand new method of connecting. I think if you're particularly a consumer marketer, you need to know how to leverage the home screen in order to connect with your audience.
And who do you think I am?
I don't know. There was a pretty compelling argument for Jeff Green there, but I would also say in the theme of the holiday spirit, I've never seen Santa and AdTechGod on the same pod before. So maybe Santa and ATG are the same person.
You never know. You never know. Thank you, Tony. Jackelyn, I'm gonna rapid fire with you now. What is a brand metric you secretly don't believe in?
This is hard. I'm gonna say engagement rate, but I have to explain why. Because it's like the astrology of metrics, but I do believe in astrology. It's unclear, like it's not connected to a specific outcome you're looking for yet. It's almost like it's like the enablement kind of gets you there within the funnel. So it's hard as a standalone metric. So it's not that I don't believe in it, but as it is currently utilized, it's hard. It's not very useful. It's like, hey, someone engaged, unless it's a first screen ad, going back to what every marketer should learn. And it actually is actionable because it's, the conversion's there.
Was there an ad that was it? No, it's a great answer. I mean, what's the last ad that you were genuinely impressed with?
So I love ads. So this is really hard, but kind of looking forward to the Super Bowl. I want to talk about the Nike ad from this past year. And I think it was just like, so win, instead of just do it. And I loved that campaign so much. I love what Nike does. I've loved what they've done like since the 90s in terms of sports and female empowerment. So the So Win campaign from Q1.
If there was one marketing task you could outsource to AI instantly, what would it be?
I mean, I think we are outsourcing a lot of these already, but just like copy editing, optimizing language, kind of if you come up with a campaign, how do I tweak it? It goes back to that creative optimization. I think a lot of us are already doing that. Writing press releases is the absolute worst. So that, but yeah, I think a lot of the fun of marketing, you can't really give to AI, like just coming up with that spark of an idea. So, and I love being creative, so I would never outsource that.
I agree. I think it helps like brainstorm ideas, but it's definitely not going to create something that's ready to go, ready for prime time. I use it to help like come up with ideas, but then I have to draft it and change it myself.
I'm hoping that my AI could create an agent that will eventually do everything for me at AdTechGod. Then I could be sitting on a beach.
Then we can retire. Exactly. If you weren't in advertising, Jackelyn, what would you be doing?
I would be using kind of knowledge of advertising and kind of business acumen to help purpose-driven organizations. Because I think a lot of nonprofit and a lot of those businesses that are doing good things in the world, they don't have the tools or the understanding that we have in the marketing business space. So I'd be doing that.
What's one thing you'd mandate for every marketer in 2026?
I would say to understand data, even if you don't need to crunch the numbers, you need to understand what those metrics mean. Because there's this misnomer that marketers were just the creative folk, but we make data-driven decisions. And if you don't understand the metrics and what they mean, then that means that you're not a strong marketer. So you might not be doing marketing analytics every single day, but you need to be able to look at a set of numbers and understand what they mean.
Who do you think AdTechGod is?
I mean, I think AdTechGod is a she.
I've had that before.
AdTech goddess, right?
I've had that, yeah.
If I have to,
Could be.
if I'd have to go down like a random idea, let's start changing that out.
I got a text message from David Berkowitz saying that he met with someone that swore that AdTechGod came out to them and said it was them and it was a woman. And they were like adamant that it was true. And so I say, you never know. That's why I alter my voice. I wanted to thank you guys, all three of you. Thank you for being on. I hope you guys have a great holiday break. I know 2026 will be big for everyone. Thank you for joining me today on this episode.
Happy holidays. Thanks for having us.
Happy holidays.
Cheers.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Happy holidays. Thank you.